you're with us on Rising Stars. Your Nest, your source for business startup funding. Joining us on Rising Stars today is one of the founders, Sunil Goyal. Sunil, good to have you with us. You know, your story itself is very interesting. The fact that the way you invested in ZipDial, which we all know about today. In fact, we've had Valerie on the show as well at some point. And that exit was a phenomenal success for you. So talk to us about how you turned investor.
See, it was all the journey that began with Bharti Airtel, where I was part of the core team of Sunil Mittal and saw him build a large empire and experience that exponential growth day on day. And once you've tasted that particular blood, you want to be back in those days of rapid growth and rapid change and manage that. That made me an angel investor and now an early stage venture capital fund. And to about ZipDial, ZipDial was a story that emerged from my Airtel experience. I could have the conviction at that point in time that only Indians can know the value of a missed call service. And the way Valerie, Amya and Sanjay at that time presented to us, it looked like a comprehensive team that was doing something for the emerging world. So emerging world was a 6 billion people versus the smartphone world of just a billion people. Thankfully, the story that we carved out, it has panned out the way it was supposed to.
And your interest or your passion has spread now to several different aspects of the tech space, Sunil. Tell us what you find interesting. What are the kinds of companies that you've been looking at?
Okay. Yes, consumer internet will always be there as a good way to look at it. Anything that is being offered on the cloud as services are making mobile apps and access to technology easier. But going forward, if you look at it, software as enterprise software or software products was always there. Now we get to see much more of product companies. Today, Internet of Things is going to be the next revolution where anything and everything, all devices around us are going to be connected. They are going to be spoken to by us in our own language. If I'm a Bangla, I'll speak in Bangla to my equipments and get the things done from the world around me. If I'm looking at content, it is going to be video content the way you guys offer the content in any manner, and it's going to be on the net. So what we are looking at is, or getting excited about, is beyond market aggregation. It is going to be primarily Internet of Things and things associated with that. That will expand the market many folds and bring something which is going to be life-changing ideas of future, and that's what startups are for.
Fantastic. So your fund at the moment has over 100, almost 150 investors, both institutional and individuals, and it's almost 100 crores, am I right?
Yes, it's 90 crores assets under management, and the most important aspect is, when I say startups are not there for incremental change. They are here to make the world change dramatically, and we all know how dramatic these startups changes. For any culture, economy, society, it is important that we support these startups. So what we are proud of is that we have been able to bring together these 150 people and few institutions to come and become angel investors and rely on our competence to be able to invest with conviction in the ideas of future.
So what are some of the signs that you kind of look out for when you're meeting some of these young startups? And I believe that you look at very early stage funding. What are some of the things that you watch out for when you're meeting some of these youngsters?
Let me say, sometimes there is a joke around in our investment committee meetings. The ones who come late eat bones.
Right.
And hence we know that we have to be very early stage when we are looking at the idea, but still, since we are managing somebody else's money, we wait for the customer validation to happen. We need to understand from the entrepreneur and the team that do they have a deep customer insight as to why that idea will be adopted faster, and the customers will line up for that particular product or service to be imbibed. The biggest challenge for the startups is not money. It is always about resistance to change from the customers and the intended customers. It's a human nature to resist that particular change, and the entrepreneur who demonstrate that capability to be staying at it, to be at it all the time till the time it becomes fashionable to us to say that we use that particular startup brand, is the one that we keep looking for.
So what about this the fact that we also see so many copycats here in India? I mean, and we are a country of a huge population and that many more ideas, but there's often a complaint, or the skeptics always say that the real innovators or the true ideas are still few and far between. Would you agree?
I would say Indian startup scene has now graduating from being a toddler to adolescence. This small maturity that is coming by, all the Me Too ideas that you saw 2014, 15 or even earlier being funded or nurtured on the back of huge customer acquisition cost and speeding up the customer behavioral change, they are the history. Today, we are coming across ideas from much more experienced people, not the younger lots. The average age of the entrepreneur is increasing, and these are the people who are understanding the day-to-day problems being faced by the Indians or the emerging markets. We are not actually supporting the Me Too ideas. In 16 portfolio companies of ours, I would say that only one by default became a Me Too only when we got to know that Uber had also started a similar facility. But all our companies are such. Let me talk about our latest investment that we have done. This company came and said to us that I'll eliminate queues from the face of this earth, and I'll start with cafeterias of offices. Now, market size is unimaginable. Has somebody done that particular thing in this particular manner? No. And that's how we will be coming and supporting them. It won't be an incremental change. It will be a change that will make everybody start using a new service and enjoy that.
Fantastic. Just before we let you go, and since you've spent so many years at Bharti, Sunil, in the news this week, of course, was Kavin Mittal and the fact that they've now reached that unicorn level. That too, giving serious competition to something like a WhatsApp. That's a pretty remarkable achievement. Want to get your take on that?
Oh, it's a fabulous. Compliments to Kavin and compliments to everybody who was having a conviction behind that particular idea. One single player in one market is very, very difficult to imagine. Now, Hike will be able to give the challenge that WeChat has been able to give in China. It is a product which has been developed seriously, and thanks to Tiger and the Bharti Group for supporting them. Actually, what we have seen is unicorns or the best ideas are normally supported by only one venture capitalist or one fund manager. It is only when they rise that you have multiple co-investors, or in Me Too's, you will find multiple investors coming along. So here is an example of somebody having a conviction and market proving it right.
All right, Neil, thanks for joining us today. We'll have to leave it there, but we hope to hear more from you and several of those young startups very soon. That's all from us on the show today. Thanks so much for watching.